The Earth is a giant single-celled organism, but before we get into that, we have to understand that thermodynamics is false. Matter can be created and destroyed. Energy can also be cool. It's not just the absence of heat or the entropy of heat, because the entropy itself is also wrong. The Earth, as well as the Sun and every celestial body, are single-celled organisms, and they are creating energy. They also maintain equilibrium or homeostasis. One of the things that the Earth does is it creates its own water. The core of the Earth is oxygen-rich, and it also produces hydrogen. Oxygen is paramagnetic, which means it follows the magnetic fields of the Earth. Deep in the subterranean part of the Earth is a type of unique crystal called ringwoodite, which actually attracts hydrogen molecules, as well as you have the oxygen molecules naturally flowing upwards because of the magnetic fields. This crystal structure has the unique property of being able to trap water in any state, whether it's liquid, gas, or solid. So because it's attracting hydrogen molecules and because you also have oxygen molecules, this ringwoodite is literally creating water. So in the subterranean parts of the Earth, there is at least 3 times as much water than what's in the oceans. The reason why you would have rising sea levels is because when you disrupt the biosphere, which is all the ecosystems, such as creating deserts, when the pressure changes and the magnetic fields are disrupted, this is going to cause more water from the subterranean Earth to move to the surface. With rising sea levels and a weakened magnetic field, you have stronger sunlight, which is evaporating more water. As the heat increases, you have more water and oxygen and more severe storms, which eventually hits a critical mass or a collapse, and then you have a period of cooling, which is what an ice age is. This is because the Earth, as a giant single-celled organism, is seeking equilibrium. The same is true for earthquakes and volcanoes and other cataclysms. These are functions of the Earth seeking equilibrium. The land also grows, which is how you get hills and mountains. Likewise, islands appear and disappear based off of different moods of the Earth. The Earth is alive, and just as we have a microbiome, the Earth has a microbiome, which is the ecosystems, which means we have an influence on the total health of the planet. Ley lines are these arterial energy paths of the magnetic fields going across the Earth. From the ley lines, you have telluric fields, which are like swirls or ripples of energy that are basically the veins. Energy is not only created from the Earth and the Sun and the Moon, but it's also created in every living organism. Energy is created through the process of photosynthesis. The way that photosynthesis works is chlorophyll dissociates the water molecule when it's exposed to sunlight. The process of dissociating the water molecule creates energy, which allows the plant to convert CO2 and H2O into glucose. The byproduct is the expelling of the oxygen molecule. So without water, the plant can't photosynthesize. Humans and any organism with melanin also photosynthesizes. Melanin is slightly different than chlorophyll though. Chlorophyll only absorbs the red and purple spectrum of light, whereas melanin absorbs the full range of electromagnetism. When melanin absorbs sunlight, it also dissociates the water molecule. Instead of creating glucose, melanin creates free energy from the dissociation of water. But this is where the big difference lies. Melanin doesn't kick out the oxygen molecule. It actually has the ability to reshape or restructure the water molecule. So when melanin receives sunlight, it dissociates the water molecule for energy and then restructures it. The energy that is created from this is cool energy. Our bodies are alchemically creating free energy from sunlight, melanin, and water. If you go out into the sun, you can actually feel this photosynthesis happening. When the water molecule starts to dissociate, you'll feel cool energy rush through your body, kind of like chills. And this energy can also be circulated with conscious attention. For example, let's take a really hot day. If you expose your skin to the sunlight, and then when you start to feel this photosynthesis, the cool rush of energy, and then go into the shade, you'll actually be cooler than if you had only ever stayed in the shade. Because your melanin needs the full spectrum of electromagnetism that is created by the sun in order to dissociate the water molecule and give you cool, free energy. And then it restructures that water. Even if all you have is damaged tap water, you're able to use the alchemy of sunlight and melanin to repair and heal that water. And this is the formula for health, for melanin photosynthesis, to create free energy and then to restructure the water molecule. The sun will start to cook you if you don't have enough melanin or if you are dehydrated. And the reason why it cooks you is because you run out of the cooling energy that you get from dissociating the water molecule with your melanin. And this is why sunscreen is ultimately harmful, because you're not giving the melanin the full range of electromagnetism. You're reflecting certain rays, or you're blocking certain rays from being absorbed. So all life on the planet comes from the light from the sun, as well as the magnetic field of the earth and the water that the earth produces. The earth's magnetic field bathes the entire planet and is concentrated in places like the ley lines and the telluric fields. Something as diffuse as the Earth's magnetic field is able to be felt, or able to sense it or tap into it. There's many different ways that can cause you to feel the Earth's magnetic field, whether accidentally or consequentially. But we're going to talk about one way that is more purposeful or more intentional. All you have to do is spin in circles or sway until you get dizzy enough that you fall onto the grass, and then you lay there with your eyes closed under the sun. When you're shaking like that, you're physically breaking down the walls of conditioning and neuroticism that prevents you from being able to feel things like that. And then when you lay on the ground after, you're more connected to the Earth's circuit, and being in the sun allows you to dissociate that water molecule so that the oxygen is free, and since it's paramagnetic, you're going to feel the flow of the electromagnetic field of the Earth. Now, if you strongly disagree with me in this video and you aren't willing to spin in a circle until you fall down and lay under the sun, I don't really care what you have to say, because I'm not interested in boring people. Spinning in circles are my go-to solution for most things, because it helps to bring your mind back to that of a child. This is before all the conditioning sets in, when they're able to feel and sense things as they are and not as they are preconditioned to be. Being able to tap into this stuff, you can feel the heartbeat of the earth. You can feel the immune system of the earth and the emotional state of your ecosystem. You can feel this especially when it rains. Each storm has a personality, has emotions. It could be a cathartic rainstorm. It could be full of anger or violence or melancholy, or filled with energy and this ecstatic sensation. And that depends on the sort of collective energy, the collective nervous system of a given place, which helps to propagate that rainfall in the first place. And that gets into the role of the shaman or the fisher kings, who are responsible for creating harmony in the lands, for bringing prosperity and fertility, and for summoning the rains, as well as supporting the greater biosphere of the planet. The personality of every storm and rain cloud is expressed in the structure of its water. And this is why every snowflake is unique. It's just crystallized water. The reason why it's unique is because every single droplet of water is structured. So the rain and the sunlight, which is tied to the health and the production of energy, is maintained or affected through the equilibrium of the earth as a living organism. There's a consistent trope found throughout the world, which is the story of the rainmaker. When this land is in drought, and they've run out of options, so they call the rainmaker. And maybe days pass by and there's no rain, and they've finally given up on him, and they usually sacrifice him, or he makes the rain and they refuse to pay him, but there's consequences for not properly thanking or acknowledging the work that he did. In some stories, they hang the rainmaker, and then right as soon as they do that, it starts to rain. In other stories, he makes it rain, and then they go back on their word and they don't pay him, and then it floods. The earth is alive, it has a soul, it has consciousness, it has a personality and feelings, just as the sun and moon do. Thermodynamics is wrong. Energy systems aren't in a constant state of entropy. There's cool and there's hot energy. The earth and the sun and the moon and all the celestial bodies are perpetual motion organisms. They're creating energy. Through alchemy, all living organisms are also creating energy. Thanks for watching.